kill my men.
The story kicks off by introducing us to a man named Samson, who is sitting all by himself in a dimly lit bar. This isn't just any ordinary bar. It is a dark hub for illegal activities where young girls are treated as commodities, bought and sold like objects. Eventually, Samson stands up and approaches the manager of the establishment, stating clearly that he intends to make a significant deal with the owner. He emphasizes that he is carrying a large amount of money with him. Intrigued by the promise of cash, the staff immediately begins escorting Samson, taking him upstairs to a private room where their boss is seated. This boss is revealed to be a high-ranking member of a dangerous cartel. Samson takes a seat directly in front of him, and after a brief exchange of words to set the stage, he pulls out the cash and places it heavily on the table. However, before the transaction can even proceed, Samson springs into action. He launches a sudden, violent attack on everyone in the room. Anyone who dares to step in front of him is instantly taken down. As the fight progresses, the number of enemies swarming him increases, leaving Samson completely surrounded and alone. Yet, he doesn't seem to care in the slightest. He continues to eliminate everyone with lethal precision. It is at this moment that the story reveals Samson's backstory. He used to be a member of the Special Forces. In fact, he was the very best soldier they had, which explains why his combat skills are so superior. After clearing the room of enemies, Samson proceeds to the upper floor and kicks open a locked door. Inside, we see a terrified young boy named Victor, who had been held captive by these criminals and was scheduled to be sold off soon. Samson approaches the boy gently, sitting beside him to calm him down. He tells Victor not to be afraid, assuring him that his mother sent him to help. He promises to reunite Victor with his mother and tells him that he just needs to stay calm. After comforting the child, Samson leads him down to the basement area, where a motorcycle has been stashed away. Both of them mount the bike, but as soon as Samson drives the motorcycle out of the building, he presses the button on a detonator he is holding. We then learn that Samson had planted bombs in every single car parked in front of the house. As he exits the compound, he triggers the explosives, causing all the cars to erupt in flames at once, creating a chaotic chain of destruction. They ride away to a safe distance, and once Samson is clear of the area, he presses the button a second time. This triggers a massive explosion that levels the entire palace. Every single member of the cartel who was present inside the building is killed instantly in the blast. However, there is a tragic detail that Samson is completely unaware of. There were many other innocent people being held captive in that house, waiting to be sold, just like Victor. Samson had no idea they were there. Believing his mission was a complete success, he goes home and goes to sleep. But the next morning, his phone starts ringing. As soon as he picks up, an investigator named Steve summons him for an interview. Samson is initially confused and doesn't understand why he is being called in. However, once he arrives at the station, Steve reveals the harsh reality. He tells Samson that he made the biggest mistake of his life the previous night. Steve explains that while Samson successfully retrieved the child and destroyed the building, he had no idea how many other people were inside. The basement area was not destroyed by the fire, but the explosion caused carbon dioxide to flood the space. As a result, all the trapped captives died of suffocation. To drive the point home, Steve shows Samson gruesome photographs of the corpses. He tells Samson that the police have tolerated his vigilantism for a long time because he was helping people, but this incident is different. Steve sternly warns him that police work should be left to the police. Because of Samson's actions, innocent people have died. He orders Samson to leave and demands that he never take another case again if he actually cares about people's safety. Crushed by this revelation, Samson leaves the station in silence. Time passes and the story jumps forward 6 months. We see Samson again, and in this time he has drifted through various professions. Currently, he is making a living working as a butcher. However, he is still deeply haunted by the ghosts of his past. The blunder he committed 6 months ago, resulting in the deaths of those captives, has made his life a living hell. He constantly hallucinates, seeing the faces of the people who died in that basement, and he is unable to forgive himself or move on. The scene then shifts to an airport, where we are introduced to a new family. The head of the family is a man named Faden, and he is accompanied by his wife, Monica, and their teenage daughter, Becky. They have all traveled to the city to enjoy a vacation together. Fei Den is a professional MMA fighter, and the family looks genuinely happy to be spending quality time together after a long period of being busy. Fei Den is busy taking pictures of Becky, capturing memories. However, nearby, we see a woman named Amelia who is secretly taking photos of Becky as well. The family heads to their hotel, where they plan to stay for the duration of the trip. While they are settling in and checking out the room, Becky notices that her cell phone has absolutely no network signal. She tells her father, Fei Den, that she is going out to the balcony, hoping to catch a signal there. Fei Den, who is fully distracted watching MMA matches on the TV, absent-mindedly says yes. Becky steps out onto the balcony, still struggling with her phone. Meanwhile, we see Amelia sitting on the adjacent balcony. Slowly, the two begin to talk. Amelia sympathizes, mentioning that the network coverage is terrible here, but she helpfully suggests a specific spot where Becky can get a signal. Back inside the room, Fei Den suddenly realizes that a significant amount of time has passed and Becky hasn't returned. He begins searching the suite for her. He checks the balcony, but she isn't there. He only sees her laptop left behind. Panic setting in, he asks Monica if she knows where Becky is, but Monica says no, explaining that she has been in the restroom since they arrived. Fei Den rushes down to the front desk to ask the staff, but no one has seen her. He meets with the hotel manager to review the CCTV footage, but there is no sign of Becky leaving through the main doors. Fei Den's anxiety skyrockets, and he immediately contacts the police. The authorities begin searching everywhere for Becky, but Fei Den knows time is of the essence. Since he is a famous figure who recently won a championship, he decides to use his fame to his advantage. He goes to the media and explains the entire situation. The news channels start broadcasting the story of Becky's kidnapping everywhere. Meanwhile, we see Samson sitting in his butcher shop, watching this very news report on his television. Shortly after, Fei Den walks into Samson's shop. He pleads with Samson, explaining that he needs his help. Fei Den reveals that he met a contact at the embassy who told him that the police investigation would take too long, and by the time they found the criminals, Becky would already be sold. The contact insisted that Samson is the only person capable of saving her and provided his address. Hearing this, Samson immediately shuts him down. He states that he has left that life behind and is now just an ordinary man who cannot help anyone. However, Monica notices a specific tattoo on Samson's arm. Being a policewoman herself, she recognizes the ink and realizes that Samson is former special forces. Fei Den, desperate, places a large pile of money in front of Samson, promising even more if necessary, begging him to find their daughter. But Samson refuses. He is paralyzed by the memory of his last mission and the innocent lives that were lost because of him. Defeated, Fei Den and Monica give up and leave the shop. Samson closes up the shop and steps outside, where he is confronted by his own son, Selwyn. It turns out Selwyn works at the embassy and was the one who gave Fei Den the location. Samson asks angrily why he revealed his identity. Selwyn explains that he knows exactly how corrupt the government is, and he even knows who likely kidnapped Becky. He argues that it is impossible for the police to reach these criminals because they have insiders everywhere. He tells his father that without his help, another innocent girl's life will be ruined. He begs Samson to intervene, knowing he is the only one who can reach them. Despite his son's emotional plea, Samson stubbornly insists that he is not going to help anyone and walks away. On the other hand, we see Fei Den, who is desperate to find his daughter by any means necessary. He is wandering the streets with a picture of Becky, stopping every passerby to ask if they have seen her. Sadly, no one offers any help. He eventually approaches a group of men near a newsstand. Because Fei Den is famous, everyone recognizes him as the MMA fighter. The men begin to mock him, asking what kind of fighter he is if he can't even protect his own daughter. They call him a coward for letting someone kidnap his child right in front of him. Enraged by their cruelty, Fei Den snaps and attacks the group. He manages to take down a few of them, but he is vastly outnumbered. Eventually, the mob overpowers him and starts beating him severely. Suddenly, a mysterious man wearing a black mask appears on the scene. He moves with lethal skill, taking down the attackers one by one until everyone is incapacitated, saving Fei Den's life. It is then revealed that this savior is none other than Samson. He helps Fei Den up and takes him back to the butcher shop to treat his wounds. Samson tells Faden that he has changed his mind and is ready to help him. He admits that he had been shadowing Faden for days. However, Samson has one strict condition. Faden must not get involved in the operation. He tells him to go back to the hotel while he works alone to find Becky. Faden agrees to the terms. Samson immediately gets to work. He disguises himself as a courier driver and heads to the home of a wealthy businessman named Lucas, whom he suspects is involved. Samson approaches the front gate, telling the guard he has a package to deliver. While distracting the guard with conversation, he knocks him unconscious. Without raising any alarms, Samson sneaks into the security room to locate Lucas within the mansion. Once he finds him, he moves in and ties Lucas up. Samson then leans in with a cold threat, demanding to know exactly where Becky is being held, promising Lucas that if he doesn't speak, he will not leave that room alive. Lucas looks Samson in the eye and feigns complete ignorance, claiming he knows absolutely nothing about Becky, who she is or where she might be. Samson, sensing the deception, leans in and delivers a chilling ultimatum. He tells Lucas that if he ever finds out that he knew something about the girl and chose to lie, he will return. And when he does, Lucas will not survive the encounter. He promises that the truth will come out soon enough. With that heavy threat hanging in the air, Samson turns and walks away. Immediately after Samson leaves, the facade drops. Lucas pulls out his phone and calls his top henchman, a man named Flat. This confirms that Lucas knew everything all along. He is indeed the mastermind behind Becky's kidnapping. Paranoid that Samson is getting too close, Lucas orders Flat to kill Becky immediately and destroy any evidence linking them to her. Following orders, Flat goes to the hideout. He ruthlessly shoots Amelia and her partner to eliminate witnesses. Then, he takes a canister of gasoline and heads toward the girl they are holding to burn her body and make identification impossible. The next morning, the police arrive at the scene and discover a charred body. The corpse is burned beyond recognition, but on its wrist, they find Becky's distinctive bracelet. When the news reaches Samson, he is immediately suspicious. He refuses to accept it at face value and insists on a DNA test, warning that this could be a conspiracy to throw them off the trail. Everyone rushes to the hospital for the results, including Monica and Faden, who are terrified. The doctors perform the test, and the results come back as a match. They declare the body is indeed Becky. Hearing this, Monica's world collapses. Overcome with grief and rage, she marches up to Samson and slaps him across the face. She screams that his methods were wrong and blames him entirely, shouting that her daughter is dead because of him. Faden, completely broken by the news, decides to give up. He gently takes Monica and leads her back to the hotel, telling her they need to pack and leave for America as soon as possible to escape this nightmare. Meanwhile, Samson is left alone with his guilt. He hates himself, believing that his failure has cost another innocent girl her life. He retreats to his shop and starts drinking heavily, trying to drown his sorrow and the memories of the past. While he is in a drunken stupor, Lucas arrives at the shop, armed with heavy weapons and backed by his thugs. Lucas is there for revenge because Samson had tortured him earlier. The men begin to beat Samson mercilessly. Samson, intoxicated and disoriented, initially can't defend himself. However, survival instinct kicks in. He snaps out of his drunken haze, fights back, and brutally kills Lucas's men one by one before escaping into the night. After finding a moment of safety, Samson pulls out a photograph of Becky to look at her one last time. Suddenly, he notices a crucial detail. In the photo, Becky is wearing her bracelet on her right hand. However, Samson clearly remembers that the bracelet on the burnt corpse was on the left hand. It's a small detail, but it changes everything. Samson realizes the body was a plant. Becky is still alive. He knows he has to tell Faden immediately, but he learns that the parents have already checked out of the hotel and are heading to the airport. They could fly out at any moment. Desperate, Samson grabs his son Selwyn, and they speed toward the airport. He manages to intercept Faden just before they leave. Samson explains everything, telling Faden that the DNA report was faked. He argues that the entire city is corrupt. The kidnappers likely paid off the doctor to falsify the records so the parents would stop looking. He convinces them that Becky is still out there. Reignited with hope, the group heads straight back to the hospital. Samson corners the corrupt doctor, and together they torture him until he talks. Breaking under the pain, the doctor reveals the name of the man paying him, Esteliu. We then learn the shocking truth that Esteliu is the deputy defense minister of the country. He has a sick obsession with American girls. He kidnaps them when they visit the city and keeps them as permanent slaves. Esteliu quickly finds out that the doctor has exposed him. Realizing Faden and Monica are still in the city, he calls his henchman Flat and orders him to kill the parents immediately, as they are now a dangerous liability. Samson anticipates this move. He takes Faden and Monica to a secret, secure location and tells them to stay put until he solves the puzzle. Once they are safe, Samson unearths his secret stash of old weapons, gearing up for war. Meanwhile, we see the real Becky held captive in a jail cell just outside the city, surrounded by guards. She manages to find a hidden phone and frantically calls her father. Faden answers, promising he is coming for her. While keeping her on the line, he traces the signal to pinpoint her location. However, this is revealed to be a trap. Esteliu allowed her to make the call to lure Faden and Monica out of hiding so he could kill them. As soon as they have the location, Faden and Monica call Samson to tell him. Samson realizes it's a trap and orders them to wait for him, but the desperate parents refuse to listen. They rush to the location alone. When they arrive, they see guards everywhere. Relying on Faden's MMA skills and Monica's police training, they manage to kill the gatekeeper and infiltrate the compound. They take down several guards, but they are soon overwhelmed and surrounded, pinned down by heavy fire. Just as the guards move in for the kill, Samson arrives. He unleashes a storm of bullets, killing the surrounding guards and saving the parents. He grabs a key from a dead guard and leads them deeper into the facility. They find a cell and rush in, thinking they have found Becky. However, it is a different girl, another American prisoner. They free her, but the facility is now on high alert. Guards are swarming towards them. Samson takes charge. He throws a smoke grenade to create cover and begins systematically eliminating the enemy waves. Watching on the security cameras, Flat realizes his men are losing. He orders his team to ensure no one leaves alive. Samson, seeing that reinforcements are arriving in cars, picks up an RPG. He fires rockets at the incoming vehicles, blasting them one by one and turning the courtyard into a burning wasteland. Realizing that brute force isn't working, Flat calls Faden on his phone. He proposes a deal. I have your daughter Becky, and you have the other American girl. Hand her over to me, and I will give you Becky. Faden, feeling he has no choice, agrees to the exchange. Samson warns him that it is a setup, predicting that snipers are waiting to take them out the moment they step into the open. We cut to Flat, who is indeed instructing his snipers to shoot everyone as soon as the girl is handed over. Samson anticipates this. He sends Faden and Monica forward with the rescued girl to make the exchange, but he stays back in the shadows. As they walk, Samson spots the hidden snipers and silently kills them before they can fire a shot. The exchange takes place. They grab Becky, and the rescued girl walks toward Flat. But there is one final twist. Samson had given the rescued girl a hidden gun. As soon as she gets close to Flat, she pulls the weapon and shoots him point blank in the head. Flat is killed instantly. Simultaneously, the police arrive in force, raiding the compound and arresting the remaining criminals. All the captive girls are released. Faden and Monica finally hold Becky in their arms, tears streaming down their faces. They head to the airport immediately to go home, thanking Samson for everything. Samson watches them leave, finally finding some peace. The movie ends with a final scene in a church. Esteliu is sitting in a confessional booth, praying to God for forgiveness for his terrible sins. Samson steps into the booth behind him. He points a gun at Esteliu's head and whispers, "God might forgive you, but I won't." He pulls the trigger, ending the villain's life. So friends, that brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more.